What's up, guys? Name's Lofty, and I recently discovered that I like to take things that are broken and make them work. Before we get started, just like to say, I'm not a review guy. I'm definitely not an authority. I've been vaping rebuildables for about 5 months now, which means I am not an expert. But that doesn't mean I can't show you what I've done to make things work. So the first item, it would be the Fogger V2. When I first got this, it was broken. It had no airflow, and I actually renamed it the Fucker. But now it's just a Fogger. So without further ado, here we go. So first things first. First thing I had to do, since it had zero airflow, I had to give it some more airflow. I had to take this bottom section off of the airflow. These two pieces come apart. So we'll just take that apart here real quick so I can show you what it looks like on the inside. Alright, that pin that came out, this pin right here, it's got some holes in it, and there's that big hole right there. It's got 4 holes in it, 2 of them this way and 2 of them this way, making it 4 holes. Well, these holes just weren't big enough, and the topmost 2 holes were too high. Those 2 holes were just a little too high, and they were getting blocked off by that chamber in there. So anyhow, the lowermost holes, the holes closest to the disc right here, is what I drilled out. I only drilled out one side of the hole, not 2. I didn't go all the way through the pin, just barely through one side. So it's just one hole. See, there's the hole there. So it's just one hole at 1/16 of an inch. So the second thing is that on the inside of the bottom there's an insulator. I'll pull that out. This insulator right here, it's got a flat side. That flat side right here lines up with the airflow holes so they don't get blocked. So be careful when you put it back together that this doesn't spin and block off your air holes, because then you'll get no airflow there too. What I like to do is I like to find something small enough, like a little pin, put it inside the hole here, just barely, so when you twist it on, take a pin, you put it inside one of the airflow holes here on the side, just barely in there. Put it on the hole that's all the way on the right. That way when you do twist it on there, if the insulator spins, the edge of it will catch on the tip of that pin, and it'll keep it from blocking off those holes. And of course the drilled out one here. So let's take the rest of this apart and show you chimney style. I'll take this off. Now I'm just going to show you guys how I build this sucker. Now that we got the airflow fixed, or hopefully fixed, I'll put this pin back in here and put the bottom part back together, and then we'll do a build on it. I'll show you the build that I like to do on this atomizer. The build that I've had the most luck with in making it work. Sorry, I'm trying to put this center pin back in here, and the insulator keeps wanting to come out on me, and I want that insulator to be in there. And the inside, that center insulator, when you put the pin back in, that insulator will pop out, so you gotta put something on there when you push that pin back in order to keep that insulator in there. So we'll just put the AFC back together. I'm not going to worry too much about the airflow thing here, and the insulator on the inside. There we go, now it's back together. Alright, now let's do a build. I'll show you the build that I like to do on this one. It's a cotton build. I don't like to go super sub ohm on this. This atomizer for me is all about flavor. It's not about clouds. So I'm gonna wrap a coil, standard coil stuff. Sorry, let me get my Kanthal here. Alright, standard coil pretty much. This is a 3/32 drill bit. I'm just going to do a, let's do a 5 wrap. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so with these coils, there's not a whole lot of space in there. So what I like to do is I like to get my coils and I just shove them together. But I don't want to burn them and get them to fuse together, you know, like a micro coil. I just like to make them small. Because a micro coil might not be all that great for cotton contact. So here's the coil. Sorry about the shitty camera, but it's a 5/4 wrap. You want leads coming off one on each side because, well, that's how the screws are set up. Maybe let's get this a little closer for you. Anyway, yeah, like I said, sorry I have a shitty camera. Might be a little hard for you guys to see some of this, but at least we got it. Okay, so we'll just get this coil in there. This is going to be a vertical coil. Just line it up like this, throw it in there. Like I said, I mean, in this fogger there's not a whole lot of room to work with, so just do the best you can with what you got. Get one in there. Tighten that one down. We'll get the other side. Now the idea is that you want that vertical coil centered over that hole, because that's where your airflow is going to come up through that hole and through the middle of that coil. And that's where all your airflow is. With this build, you're basically building a super cartomizer. Now if only this thing will cooperate. I'll give a shout out to my buddy Steve Calciatum. He's the one that showed me this style of build, and then I just decided to use it in the fogger, and turns out to be the best build that I've had in it yet. Sorry, fogger's a little difficult to get built. Push these coils down a little bit. So I get the Kanthal up on that screw there. There we go. There we go. Yeah, sometimes you just gotta get the Kanthal on there and fix up your coil positioning afterwards. Okay, now that's on there, let's fix up the coil. Get that all. Like I said, sorry guys, this is like my first video and stuff, so it's kind of hard to see. Yeah, There we go. So there we go. Sorry, it's kind of hard to see because my camera sucks. But a vertical coil right on top of that hole. And we'll check our ohms. Make sure our wires aren't touching. 0.7 ohms. And it's all backwards for you. Awesome. Cool. Well, you take my word for it. It's 0.7 ohms. Usually between 0.6 and 0.8 is where I like to be for this device. Sometimes 1 ohm will do it. But. So let's get these trimmed off. Alright, let's get some cotton. Because we like cotton. Cotton tastes good. Okay. Okay. You know, a lot of people say less is more with cotton, and with this build, it's very, very true. You don't need much cotton at all for this build. So I just got some little cotton bits here. And just take off little tiny pieces. Little bits at a time. Just little ones. Little tiny ones. And we'll just kind of pack them in there. And you don't want to pack it too tight. Or too loose. And one thing that I forgot is I like to put my drill bit in there to make sure the pathway stays clear of cotton and you know, for the airflow and stuff. So if we can get all the way in there, there we go. Okay, now we'll just load our cotton in here, just little tiny pieces, a little bit at a time. If you pack it in there too tight, you won't get any, you won't wick in very well. But if you pack it in too loose, the contents of your tank will leak through like a sieve and it will go all in your pocket. You get it just right and it is great. Now there's barely any cotton in there right now. Like I said, sorry about the video quality. It's just a crappy webcam that I'm using. So I'll put some in the other side. With this part, it just takes some trial and error to get it right. After a while, you'll get a feel for it and you'll know how much to put in there and you'll get it right just about every time. Now while you're waiting to get that feel, once you got it loaded in there and you got it built, put like maybe a half a mil of juice in your tank. And then try it out. And you'll know right away if you got it. Well, maybe not exactly right away, but you'll know it if you got it. It'll work great if you got it done right. Just a little more cotton and I think we'll be good to go. Alright, I think that's pretty much good. Okay, take our drill bit out. And we'll put our chimney back on. Now underneath the chimney there is an O-ring. This little guy right here. Don't lose it. What I like to do, because this goes around here where the chimney goes on, what I like to do is I'll take this O-ring and put it on the very top of the chimney like this. And then I'll just barely get the chimney on there. Oh, that's right, I forgot one more thing. these two slots in the sides, that's where your juice will come in. What I like to do is just go in from the side, just grab just a little pinch of that cotton and drag it out just a little bit, not a whole lot, just to make sure you get good contact of juice to your cotton. Pull a little bit out, just a little bit. There we go. So I got little bits of cotton coming out the sides. Just a little tiny bit, not a whole lot. You don't want to block off those channels. Okay, so now we took the chimney, put our chimney back on, but we'll just put it on just a little bit, just enough to get the thread started. So we'll hold it in place like that, and then that O-ring, we'll just shove that sucker right over the top. Stretch it over. It's kind of difficult to get that one, but so we got it on there now. We'll just now we got it around there, and we'll just push it down until it clips on. There we go. It's on there. Now that it's on there, we'll get some juice in there. Like I said, this build is all about flavor, not vapor. And Boba's Bounty is flavor. Love the flavor of this juice. So get our juice nice and wet, or our cotton nice and wet. A little bit in the sides here, a little bit inside there. Get that stuff nice and wet. Let's get a test fire going here. Alright. She's working. Oh. Now if you look in there, it's hard to see, but my coils are not directly over that wick hole. My coils moved a little bit, so I'm going to get those suckers straightened out. Get that back over the wick hole where it's supposed to be. And it's hard to see down in there, so I need to get a little pin just to check it out. Make sure I got everything all lined up the way it's supposed to be. I want good airflow, not bad airflow. Okay, now it's lined up over the hole a little bit better. It was kind of off to this side a little bit. So since I moved the coil, that means I got to move the cotton a little bit too. Make sure I just got good contact between the cotton and the coil. Another thing to pay attention to when you do a build on this, you want to make sure that your coils are not sitting on top of that insulator down in there. You don't want to melt that. I'm sure it wouldn't taste very good. So anyhow, let's get our chimney back on. You don't want it not too tight on the chimney though. Let's get all this back together, make sure that's all good. Let's get our tank on. Alright, now let's get some juice up in here. Change the camera angle again. Okay. I was just using that thing for a weight. Anyway. So, we'll get some juice up in here. A little bottle of Boba's Bounty there. Where's my syringe? Okay. Like I said, you know, you just get a build and test it out. You don't want to put a whole lot of juice in there. You want to put just enough in there to give it a good test so you know how well it's going to wick on you. So that's what I do. I'm going to take this screw out here so I can fill it. Now when you fill it, you want to be kind of quick between putting the juice in and getting that screw in, because there's no pressure on that tank, and so your juice is going to go in pretty quick. So just a little bit of juice. We'll get this screw back in here real quick before it floods. Now if it does flood, no big deal. Just open up your airflow and blow it out real quick, and also vape it, kind of vape it a little dry. This thing does tend to gurgle every once in a while, but still not a bad vape. Anyhow, let's get this sucker put back together and we'll see how she vapes. Alright, here we go. So thanks for agonizing through that with me, and we'll see how it works. Fresh cotton. So far, no problem. Now if you look, as you're vaping, sometimes you'll see some bubbles coming out of your little holes here, out of those little holes where the juice wicks in. That's a good thing, because that means, you know, if air is coming out, then the pressure is changing and juice is going in there. And so far, no problems with the wicking. You're not going to know right away. I mean, you're going to know once you get through about how much juice you had in there that you put inside the cotton before you put the chimney on. And we just vape it for a good, I don't know, 30 minutes or so. Maybe not 30 minutes straight, but get some good vape time on it, and then you'll know if you did your cotton right or not. Now if your cotton's too loose, you'll have a bunch of juice come out your air holes on the side, and if you got too much, you'll just get dry. Another quick tip is that if you do get a little dry on your cotton, the best thing to do is, one, you can close off your airflow all the way, take a good couple of dry hits like this with your airflow closed. See that there's a little bubble coming up right there? The little bubble just came out of that hole. That means juice is going in. Another thing you can do, if that doesn't work, just untwist the cap, just maybe a turn, and then pop your tank up, let some air in, push the tank back down, tighten it back up. Yeah, I'm getting just a little bit of gurgle on that right now, but it'll vape dry. Another thing you can do if you get a little gurgly, when you take a vape, do yourself a Jenny tilt. Not too long though, just a little bit, like this. That'll help get any juice out of that air hole that might have flooded into it. That's it. That's the build on the fogger. Thanks guys, and I hope you learned a thing or two. Like I said, sorry about the video quality. It was my first video on a crappy webcam, so what can you do? Alright, happy vaping people.